All right. Good golly, Miss Molly. This is a disappointing day. This one is not exactly the type of video I was hoping to make, but with the 9.1.0 changes coming to DBD, we have recently seen something that I am not very excited about. For those of you who have followed me for, a little bit, you know that I am a clown main. I love the clown. I've been maining him since he first came out. And actually, he was the first chapter I was with the game for when it came out. So it's kind of been my entire time in DBD has been really clown focused. I really love this character. I play him all the time. And unfortunately, it seems like Behavior decided it was time to murder this character. Now, I say murder the character, and we'll get into the changes in just a second, but there's one really, really important caveat I want to get up front, and that's that I'm actually not really here to talk about if it's a nerf or a buff. I see a lot of people debating that, and I have my opinions. And they are that this is a nerf. I do think this is a nerf. However, it's not really about that. That's not what's disappointing me about this. What's disappointing me about this is that this is changing the fundamental aspect of the clown. I feel like this is changing the clown at a level that I'm uncomfortable with because it changes the very essence of the character. So with that being mentioned, let's get into it. I will pull up the patch notes and we can get into those and kind of go through those and talk about what's notable. So the clown. Okay. They increased the haste of the afterpiece antidote by 12 or to 12. It was 10. And instead of just reading them all off, I'll go in and give you a general idea. The general idea is that anything to do with the afterpiece antidote, which is the yellow cloud, is going to be better. Anything to do with the afterpiece tonic, which is the purple one that slows you down, is going to be worse. And how much worse are we talking here? Well, actually, it's pretty considerable. So the hindered status effect that comes from it has been nerfed by 3%. It was 15, now it's 12. It's also been nerfed in terms of how long it lingers from 2 seconds to 1, which I mean, 1 second, oh my gosh, 1 second is just nothing. 1 second is not going to feel all that impactful. And if that wasn't bad enough, look at the Ether 15 volume percent. That's 0.5. It was 1. It used to give you an extra second of intoxication. Now it's a half second. And if that wasn't bad enough, how about the flask of bleach, right? That's a classic piece of any clown's loadout. People use that all the time because it would increase the hindered penalty by 4%, but now it's 2%. So doing some basic math here, it used to be 15% and you could buff it by an additional 4%, which means that with clown being, and again, I'm getting into almost like Steiner math here, so I do apologize, but clown moves at 115. That means he is at base 15% faster than survivors. And then he could hit them with an additional 19% slowdown, which was really good. That was actually really good. He was a beast in one-on-one chases. That's why people would just pre-throw against Clown. It's why they would do that. It's because if you don't, he's going to make otherwise safe loops very unsafe. And that was fun. I thought that was kind of the essence of that character. But Behavior disagreed. They do not think that's how he should be played. What they think is you should use the yellow bottles. It almost feels like they want to basically swap the roles because the way it works here is it used to be that you would mostly use the purple bottles. And I know there are yellow bottle clowns and you can get a lot of value out of the yellow bottles. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not saying they weren't a good addition. I'm not saying I want them to be weak. What I am saying is that I liked that his first and foremost line of defense, or line of attack, I should say, was slowing others down. And you could pair that really nicely. Slow them down, speed yourself up, get guaranteed hits. It was great. It was great. And it wasn't broken because he doesn't traverse the map very well. He's not as lethal as the very top tier killers like Blight, Nurse, even somebody like Spirit, or especially, Dracula, people like that. He was never broken. Clown was never broken. But this kind of change makes me think that there was something about him that they didn't like. Something that they were not fond of. And I think I have the answer. It's always risky. It's always risky to speculate. I think it's because he was a noob stomper. There are some killers that really eat up the lower levels of play. Doctor would be a great example of that. If you get to the top of MMR, Doctor does not perform extremely well. There's a reason you don't see a ton of Doctors in tournament play. But at the bottom of MMR, or even around the midway point, Doctor does pretty well because people don't know how to deal with him. A good example of that would also be like going way back in time, Release Freddy. When Freddy first came to the game, he was very weak. The Nightmare was very weak. But he ate up these lower lobbies, right? He was just a monster. And for some reason, he had a ridiculously high win rate. I think that's probably what we're seeing with Clown. I think Clown is probably stomping on people at the lower levels while getting stomped on at the higher levels. And I think the behavior is just kind of almost doing something like they did with Skull Merchant, where they said, okay, we have this, we don't like this, we want to change this. But when they reworked her for the most recent time, they basically just put her in an unplayable state until they could figure out something better. I don't think Clown's in an unplayable state, but I do think that he is a fundamentally different character than he was just a day ago. And again, it's all PTB. It could change. They could maybe, I don't know, undo some of the damage done to the purple bottles. But I will say, this is the day that pretty much every killer main fears. This is the day that everybody knows is probably coming for their character, but they don't look forward to it. And it's the day when behavior takes out their random acts of punishment, their random weapon, their club, and they just beat down your killer with it for no particular reason. So I know I probably sound a little whiny here. It's just, this is disappointing. This is really disappointing. And again, I've left, I'll leave the notes up on the screen. So if you want to read through all of them individually, I don't really care about getting into the specifics of each and every one because, they changed a lot of the add-ons. They changed a lot of aspects about his power. It's not all bad. Some of it's good. But then you see some things, like the cigar box, being brought down to 6 meters instead of 16 because they're buffing the yellow, so they know Clown will use the yellow more. And rather than let him have this add-on that was already top tier, already a great add-on, they said, well, we want you to use the yellows more, but we don't want you getting that much use out of them. And that's where this whole thing just feels like this is a go-away fix to me. This is a rework where they're basically saying like, you should probably just stop playing Clown. And I'm not saying that people will. He's not super popular as is. It's a very niche community that loves the Clown. But I can say that this is the type of change I just really thought they never needed to do for Clown. I thought he was in a very healthy spot. I thought he was in a really good spot where he was. And I am very, very disappointed. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about it because I'm very passionate about this killer. And because my next video is going to be on Clown. And it's very upbeat. And it's very happy. And it's very, haha, don't we love the Clown? And with this news coming out while I was in the editing process for that video, I was like, well, that's going to seem a little strange. I feel like people are going to say, oh, okay, well, you love Clown. How do you feel about this thing that just happened? And the answer is, I am not a fan. I'm not a fan, but as I always like to point out, I will give it time. I will give it time. I will see how I feel about it in just a little bit. Maybe as I get some time and some reps and I play this, maybe I'm like, okay, well, this is the new Clown. This is what he is now. And, he's my boy. So I guess that's, maybe I'll still find a way to love this new kit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very, very disappointed to see this. It's been such a big thing. It's like, I'm not even really paying much attention to the Pyramid Head rework. I'm not really paying much attention to the pig buffs. I'm not even paying attention to the Walking Dead getting added because it's like, okay, well, Walking Dead, that's awesome. That's a battle we won. But if it's releasing in a way that coincides with the gutting of my favorite character, that is very unfortunate. So anyway, I am interested to know how you guys feel. I'm very disappointed right now, but hey, we'll see. We'll see if maybe this is all an overreaction and maybe Clown's going to be fine. I don't know. Anyway, those are just my 2 cents. As always, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, do that whole thing. But more importantly than anything, let me know how you're feeling about this. Let me know how you feel about the Clown changes. And until next one, I've been Das Food. Bye, friends.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness.